Yes, and so am I.
All right, cool.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
And okay, so cool, Ralph. Let's do our
Yo,
normal little testing thing now before I started. I don't want to go on a rant there like I sometimes have a tendency to do. I was just kind of talking while people were getting on. So,
that
um,
was just the pre-warm up. That was the
yeah.
pre-webinar.
Can you guys hear us okay? Go ahead and write it, text, and let us know if one of us is a lot louder than the other one, or if we both sound pretty good. Um,
Loud and
and
clear.
we'll get started right now.
Both good.
Check my input here. It looks like mine's probably low.
Good,
How's
good.
that sound a little bit better? Oh,
Hey,
it's moving. See,
it's
remember we were
me.
talking to Darren the other day, Ralph, and
Yeah.
Molly's was doing this. Now mine's doing this. It's moving
Mm,
around on me.
yeah.
Testing one.
The soon to be released podcast.
Yeah. So any super audio Mac experts out there, how do you get this input to not go automatic and manual? I don't see a button here. Once in a while this does this. Not very often, but once in a while I'll see it. So um how looks like all audio is good. It says better than most. Okay, cool. Okay, so
Cool.
yeah, so basically excited about today's call. We're gonna get into this user experience design in a second here. Um, but like I was saying here just a second ago, this has been kind of a long time, designing, and it's ever evolving. It's absolutely ever evolving. As Facebook evolves, we try to evolve. But the core principle here is that Facebook is the online event, party, coffee shop, right? It's really, you got to think about it as a party, or like meeting somebody, meeting a potential business partner, potential customer at a party, or like a conference, or look at it like, meeting your potential husband or wife at a restaurant, or get together for the first time, or a bar, right? So that's how what we're doing here. Now, there's always going to be cases where you meet somebody and boom, you sell them a $5,000 program or a product the first time you meet them, and you hard sell them, and you got an amazing product, and it's the perfect fit, right? Same thing. Sometimes you meet somebody and it goes really fast, right? And it ends up a passionate night that night. And so yes, there's always going to be those cases, but um 80 if you use the 80/20 principle, 80% of the time that's not the case. If you want to be successful long term, you've got to build relationships. And what we're going to show you how to do here is how to systematize this, right? How to systemize, I don't even know what the right word is. I never say it right, but
Systematize is good.
systematize.
Systematize, I like. If it's not a word, it is now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how to really build a system for this process. And you have to understand that it's like the story I tell and about I told this on the very first episode of our podcast that we're launching in a couple weeks here, and I'll tell you guys about that here in a second in the announcement section. But I've told the story before, and some of you might not have heard it, but nobody likes that guy that you meet at a party or a coffee shop, and 30 seconds later, after you're shaking their hands, he's trying to pitch you on his product or his financial planning services, right? Or trying to set an appointment with you right after meeting you. Nobody likes that guy. Um, but everybody wants to work with people they like and their friends, right? If you have a friend that's a financial planner, you're going to go to him, right? So, or if you meet somebody at a party and you can build a relationship, and he gives you some, great piece of advice once or twice, and then starts asking you about your kids, and then, later on, maybe a couple days later, you see a newspaper ad or a billboard with his face on it talking about, call this number, go to this website for a uh, financial evaluation. Would you, be more apt to do that? Of course you would, right? So what we're trying to do is we're engineering that process so you can basically be cloning yourself at parties all over the world and building relationships, and then smoothly transitioning people into your sales funnel, and you know getting a small percentage of those people are going to turn into customers, and that's what we're going to show you how to do. So today, real quick, a couple announcements and updates and announcements, like Ralph just mentioned. So we've kind of subtly mentioned this a couple times, but you know how things go slow, so we've kind of been nervous to talk about it too much. But now we're really on track. Looks like we're looking for what, July 6th launch, Ralph. That's what we talked about yesterday, right? We're thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, right after July 4th. So we wanted it before July 4th, but those
Yeah, we thought it was
digital
gonna be June
marketer
29th.
guys.
Looks like it's gonna be July 6th. Um, So we are launching a podcast called Perpetual Traffic with Molly Pittman, Ralph Burns, and myself as the three hosts. So the uh, the show is really all about this kind of mind map that I'm going to show you guys today. So the first episode we talk about the future of paid traffic. The second episode we talk about building relationships with traffic, and maybe for those of you folks inside Facebook Ads University here, we'll be as what I'm going to do. Actually, I haven't told you this, Ralph, either, but as we get some of our audio clips polished up, and as we get some of the first couple episodes dialed in, I'll give you guys a few sneak peeks on some of the first couple episodes before we launch.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, I was thinking of just doing that for kind of fun and get some feedback too. But we've already recorded the first 6 episodes, so we've just got a bunch of stuff. We're doing a bunch of really cool sound bites and stuff like that. So we're excited that this isn't going to be like your typical podcast where you're talking about interviewing an expert on one specific tip every week. So you're kind of getting really just it's kind of like a shiny object syndrome. And so what we're doing more is we're talking about concepts, but we'll take like 2 or 3 or 4 episodes and then cover that. Or like we're doing case studies. Like we did 3 episodes in a row with Betty Rocker talking about walking through her whole experience and strategies and how she's been able to be so successful. So uh, we're excited about the format. It's different than most you see out there. Slightly, similar, but a little bit different. Does that make sense, Ralph?
Yeah, I think it's going to be different. I mean, I think we're going to get really deep into this kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about here because I think the
Yep.
nature of traffic in general and advertising in general has really changed a lot with all the social networks that we're all on now. So, that's what sort of sparked the idea for the podcast or for the show or whatever it is that we're going to be calling it. But yeah, and it's directly related back to, this presentation here. But more importantly, I think it gets into broad concepts and then into really actionable parts of one specific strategy as opposed to going after all the shiny little objects that I think internet marketers or digital marketers are sort of prone to do. So, because we see it working on this platform and Molly sees it working in the way that she's doing it, and I think the two of us, our two companies combined, I think can bring a lot of experience and hopefully cut out a lot of the mistakes that people might be making, shorten the learning curve
Yep.
at the same time. So.
Cool. So let's get right into it. A couple other things. Some use. I'm gonna put in some helpful Facebook URLs from this webinar that we were on a couple weeks ago with Facebook. For some of you guys, these might be basic, super basic, but some of you folks, they will be helpful. Just put these in your notes. Don't go through these right now. But these are just some helpful URLs that Facebook gave us on a recent webinar that we'll be kind of passing down some of this information to you guys, by the way, too, and probably the next upcoming webinar. Um, it was all about optimizing your campaigns, and a lot of it was about bidding and what uh, campaign objective to use, and talking about website conversions and compared to like website clicks and page post engagement and stuff. So um, I think I'm not sure if I put it in the questions instead of the chat. Darn it! I'm gonna post all 3 of these one more time in the chat. 1, 2. So don't go through these right now, please. Just grab them and put them on a notepad or pull them up on your browser and just leave them there. So just some helpful URLs for some of you guys. But let's get right into today, because please, shoot your questions. We'll be screening your questions. Um, if anything's confusing, just let us know, and we'll try to keep this as clear as possible. So basically, what I'm going to do here actually is, originally I kind of went through this map on my big whiteboard, electronic whiteboard, but it's kind of tough to see with the camera. So I decided to do this on screen here. I've got this big mind map here up on my whiteboard, and so but sometimes there's a glare and it's kind of hard to see. So but first of all, what I've got here is a super basic funnel. Okay, I want you to look at this and we're keeping it simple here, right? Because it's not really about the funnel right now. It's more about the process, right, Ralph? Is that
Mhm.
the right way to explain this? Make
I
sure,
think so.
Ralph, if I'm ever confusing here, your job is just to jump in and hit, hit the button and hit the red button and tell me to explain that in a better way, because today could be a little confusing for some people.
I'm not shy. Don't
Okay,
worry. Keep going.
cool. So, basically, you want to think about your Facebook funnel segments as similar to your kind of your online sales funnel. So, what we have here is the top of this funnel would be no is your fans and goodwill, right? And so this right here is kind of mimicking this whole real world experience. And notice how they're color coded. So you've got, as people become users, become fans, or goodwill content. Well, goodwill content, and I should have right here video views on here too, on this top level, but we don't, because this was actually made a little bit ago. But basically, goodwill content is a blog post, right, that you're going to drive traffic to, or maybe they come from another source like Twitter, or promoted tweets or something like that, or organic traffic. So, but basically, goodwill content is non-gated, ungated content where people do not have to opt in to consume. This is a big part of this. Okay. And then this is just fans, somebody that said yes, they've raised their hand, they said, I want to hear more from you. Okay. And that's important, which we'll talk about here in a second. So that's like the top, right? And then you have the next step is you might have a lead magnet. Maybe you have a webinar registration. Maybe you have a software demo. Maybe you have a coupon for a local business. There's all kinds of different kind of first steps here that are not sales related. So just think about that. We're just trying to keep this simple, right? So now they're kind of warmed up even more, right? They're on your list. They're not a customer yet. So now down here you have somebody that hits your sales page, right? So, and then if they buy something, they end up on your, or maybe what happens here is they end up on your order form, and they buy something, and then they end up on your high ticket upsell. So this is a super basic funnel, but you want to look at this and think about this is each step in this funnel, you have people in different sections here. So like, for example, if you're using like Infusionsoft or Entreport or Marketo or some kind of CRM software, and you can do this a little bit with like Aweber and iContact and stuff too, and MailChimp, but you want to segment your list as much as possible, right? So you want to have, well, you can't segment these people because they're not on your list yet, which is why Facebook ads are so awesome for one reason. But down here, you have like maybe all subscribers, maybe you have people that registered for a webinar, and then as they become customers, they get segmented, right? Well, you want to do the same thing with your social traffic, and that's what we're going to show you how to do today. Think about your social traffic, where people are as kind of being tagged inside Infusionsoft or in Entreport, okay? And that's what you're going to do, and you're going to systematically do this. So I'm going to show you this funnel here, and as I do this, I'm going to walk you through this, but what I'm also going to do after I walk you through this is show you, like, if this is all too overwhelming and you don't have any of these steps, we're going to show you the first 3 that you need to do, okay? So you'll see here there's multiple steps, and you'll see here there's holes that we're filling in our funnel right now because we have a new funnel that we're just rolling out. And so everybody, the point is that like I said, just right when we're going to go through this one, and then I'm going to go through, this is business to business, and then I'm going to go through a business to consumer. This is the Betty Rocker one. So we're going to show you 2 separate funnels. And then right after that, what I'm going to do is we're going to walk you through like the big 3. Okay. What I would do if you were my client, and I would say, you need to do this, this, and this. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. So don't stress out. Just try to just take it in, and we'll break this down for you. So what
Hey,
we
Keith,
have
can I
here.
add something in here just as an overview? Something that I don't think we've even talked about too much, even on the podcast.
Yep.
But this whole thing that we're talking about here just really mimics the real world of how people actually do buy and do engage in the normal world. And if you think about Facebook as that platform, Facebook is a digital platform, but in essence, it really does mirror how people really do business in the outside world. So this takes advantage of the fact that people typically on that first step in your first interaction with them are going to say no. Like I think it was Frank Kern that said it. Most people say no because we're hardwired to say no at first. And then we're also hardwired as digital marketers to grab the email address first so we can market to them after the fact. But Like this whole thing right here is a funnel, but it's done over time instead of sort of the very rare person that goes through gets your email address and then buys your tripwire and then buys your core offer. There's going to be so few people that are going to buy in that sort of progression. That's why this is done sort of in a sequence, but over time.
When
And
he
they get
said
to know,
tripwire, in
like, and
case you don't know
trust you.
what that means, that's like a low priced impulse buy front end offer.
Some kind of purchase.
Yeah.
So, but this is something that works not all at once, but it's something that works sort of in a sequence. So the B2B and then the B2C are sort of two different examples. And when we bring on a client or we're consulting with our coaching clients, we talk to them about this. Facebook is the medium for it, but this is really how people buy and purchase and do business with each other in the offline world. And Facebook is just mirroring that. So.
Yep. Exactly. Thanks. So what we have is on the left side is your target audience. And this is kind of mirroring that funnel that we just showed, right? Except at the top of it, I'm going to kind of do a little overview. So I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Sometimes this thing doesn't drag very good for some reason, but it's hard to grab. But you're going to think about this left side here as your users on Facebook moving down that funnel, right? So they're cold. Initially, you have cold kind of interest-based targeting, cold audiences, right? You're targeting people, somebody who likes Tony Robbins, for example, or a business owner, or somebody who makes a certain amount of income. Okay. As they move down this funnel, right now we're just looking on the left side. They become a fan. They click like. Now they're a fan. They're getting a little bit warmer. Now, as they come down more, maybe they have visited a blog post. So now we call that a non-converted website custom audience or video custom audience, video views. So if they've watched one of your videos, at least 3 seconds, they go on your custom audience now, right? And then the next step would be to become a lead or a subscriber. The next step would be to become a new customer. So that's kind of your funnel. So what we've done, and which is what I want you to do, and at the end of this webinar, I'm going to give everybody on this a link to download a Lucid chart. This Lucid chart, you can have this, okay? And so you can just delete those pictures of me and put yours in place. And as you fill up your funnel, you've got a map. So I'm going to give you that at the end. So and you'll have to get an account with Lucid Chart. I think they have a free account and I think they have a paid version. I can't remember, but it's cheap either way. So I'll raise this up. Let's go ahead and raise this up a little bit now, actually. So on the top here, we always want to start out with a like campaign. So in this situation, we have the ad in the middle row and the target audience here. So this like campaign is going to be put in front of cold audiences. And then the destination is the right side here. So this is where people are going to, if they click on your ad in the middle here, they're going to land on this page over here. And it's going to be placed in front of this audience over here. So we got the whole left to right kind of you'd build a funnel map like a Lucid chart, like you would build a map like your funnel in Infusionsoft. And then we also have this kind of going down through the funnel so you can visualize this both ways. So hopefully this helps either how you are kind of visualize things. So basically this one here, if you click on a like campaign, let's go ahead and a little bit larger. If you click on a like campaign here, typically you just get them to click like and they don't go anywhere. But if they do click on like this, they're going to go to my timeline. So the timeline is the destination. So some people will end up there. But we like to run like campaigns. And notice if you can read that. Ralph, can you read that okay?
I think some people are saying it might be a little bit too small, but if there's any way to blow up your screen a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's see here. I can't write on it if it's full screen like this, but that's better now. We'll just have to go back and forth a little bit.
Yep.
You can see my mouse though, right?
Yes.
My cursor. Okay, so this one here, getting ROI from social media, like us and watch client case studies on how we do it. So I'm not saying, want more, I don't know, like social media, click like if you do, right? Or like love basketball, click like if you do. We're not talking about general topics here. What we want to do is, ask people to raise their hand to hear more from us. And you'll see an example with Betty Rocker where she does the same thing. So, if you're doing it this way, you're not trying to trick people to click like, you're not trying to get them to enter a contest. You're actually just saying, hey, click like if you want to hear more from us. So this way, your cost per like will be a little bit higher than it will if you're doing it another way where you're trying to really just get as many as possible. But your quality of like is way better. And do you want likes? Yes. There's 3 reasons why you want fans. Okay. 4 really, if you include just the social proof aspect of having more fans. Okay. But that's really just a collateral benefit. The first one is, guess what? I can put these ads down here. I can place them in front of my fans. Okay, your fans are always going to give you some of the best, ROI. So that's one reason. The other reason is that the more fans you have, the bigger potential audiences of the connection targeting inside Facebook, where you can, like, I can say, I want to target people who like digital marketer, but also have a friend who likes dominate web media. So if that's the case, we call it friends of fans targeting, right? In the ads manager, it says advanced connection targeting. That's where you do that at. And what that does is it gives you instant credibility. So when somebody sees that ad above dominate web media, it'll say Ralph Burns and 21 others also like dominate web media. So when somebody's friend likes that page, they have a higher tendency to click on it and then also opt in. So you get higher click-through rates, cheaper clicks, and typically higher opt-in rates. So that's why. Now, the numbers, let's say, I don't want to go too deep into this, but because it's an exponential. So if you have 1,000 fans and you're targeting somebody that likes Tony Robbins and also friends of fans, your audience might be 20,000 or something like that. But if you go from 1,000 fans to 3,000 fans, that potential audience of targeting somebody that likes Tony Robbins, but also has a friend of your page, your target audience might go from 20,000 to like 100,000. It's a big jump. So every 1,000 fans you get, your potential connection targeting grows exponentially. That's all I want to say there. So
I think it's really important. We get this question a lot in the forum, the Facebook group, is how do I put together a like campaign? And the way that this ad is done, and actually the video that's inside Facebook Ads University is really good because it shows intent. And that's really important. You want to get fans not because you want it as a vanity metric and say, oh, look at all these fans I have. You want people to like your page based upon the fact that they want something from you. And in this case, getting ROI from social media, it just happens to be one of the things that our Facebook page helps you with. So if you can identify that pain in the market and then target it to people who have that pain and get them to like, that like is your first interaction for somebody who may buy your stuff later on down the line and lower in the funnel, as Keith explains it. Does that make sense?
Yep, perfect. And the third reason is if you separate out your ad sets here with your fan targeting, you can start to get a gauge on which audiences are most engaged with your ads. So that will help you with research. It's kind of a research phase for this stuff down here too. So helps you figure out which audiences are most engaged with your brand. 2, you get that friends of fans connection targeting, and then 3, you're building fans that you can remarket to. So now the next step in this funnel is the non-gated content. So what we do here, this is a blog post that we just have running in the background all the time. And this here, notice how it says blog post in parentheses. Here's the exact process we use to ensure maximum success and ROI with our high-end client Facebook ad campaigns. And this ad, we call this a link post ad or a page post link ad. Facebook changes the lingo, and there's all kinds of different just slang for the way these are called. But if I say link post ad, what I mean is this image is a clickable link, okay? And it's the most popular ad you see on Facebook. So this ad goes right to a blog post over here. They don't have to opt in to consume that. And guess what? Everybody that lands on this blog now, because I have my Facebook custom audience pixel placed on my site, they're being added to that indivisible list, right? So if I drive 1,000 Facebook users to this page, I now have 1,000 people on that custom audience that I can now remarket to with more promotional ads. So if you go down this, pull this down a little bit, this list right here, non-converted website and video custom audiences. So that is the audience that people that hit this blog post will be added to. They'll be added to this warm list. Okay, but it's not a list that you have access to. You can't download their names or their email or anything like that. It's just it's an audience that's in your audiences section. So we like to use link post ads here because there's no reason to use a video ad to take them to a content piece like this, because, well, I'll explain that in a second why. So this right here, this ad is going to be placed in front of cold audiences only. Okay, and then it will, unless not necessarily. Sometimes if you've got a blog post coming out that you really want to amplify to your list too, you might put that out in front of your fans and your email list too. But that just kind of depends. But for the process of what we're trying to do right now is meet somebody at a party and then build a relationship and then sell to them eventually. This right here, for the purposes of this, goes out to cold audiences, and that's the purpose it's serving. So now the next step down the funnel is, we have a Facebook checklist landing page, right? Or maybe you have a webinar. So these two are really the same. These should be at the same level. These are both lead generating segments. So you can kind of consider these the same. So, but I want to have them both so people kind of see it. So now let's say I want to run a link post ad, page post link ad, same style as this right here. And I want to drive people to a landing page. Well, this right here, link post ad, I'm going to put this in front of fans and also in front of people that have already consumed content, been to my homepage, or consume this blog post, right? So we're going to go in front of those people, and we're going to make, in our targeting, we're going to exclude people that have already opted in. So people that have opted in already for this are not going to see this ad. There's exclusion targeting in Facebook. It's very simple in the targeting section. So basically, this one here is, I'm not putting this in front of cold audiences usually, and most people do. So if you can, I mean, if you have a really high converting offer and that's what you want to do, you can do that. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, with the future of the way things are going with Facebook, the way Facebook is scoring your ads with the relevant scores, if you have a relevant score of 2 or 3, and then you're going to pay a lot more money per click. And typically a link post ad that's going to a kind of like a sales page that's cold traffic, or like a squeeze page style, even a webinar, you're going to have low relevant scores, and you're going to pay a lot of money per click, and you're going to get low opt-in rates. So I just don't do it. So why not just send more traffic to this content, and then you can remarket them into your landing pages. And then what happens is the only people that see this are people that have already kind of seen something of yours. So you get less negative feedback, you get lower bounce rates. People spend a little bit more time on these before they bounce back to Facebook. All that stuff affects your relevant score. Relevant score is huge right now. It's a huge game changer that you've got to pay attention to. So this whole process that we're showing you is also going to really help you keep high relevant scores throughout all your campaigns. So these ads right here, these ads typically get 8, 9, or 10 relevant scores. Okay. These ads right here, if it was going to cold traffic, this would be a 2 or a 3. Is that about right, Ralph?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think, it depends on your targeting. It depends on a lot of factors, but they're definitely less relevant score-wise. A couple people are asking about that blog post, that Facebook, the 9-step process for FB ads.
Yep.
To the blog post. What happens when they get to the blog post itself?
Okay, great question. You know what? It's going to be easier to show you guys online. Just let me pull it up. Okay. Let's see here. So what happens here is that basically you want to have strong calls to action here on this blog post, and this is the one right here. So you want to have strong calls to action depending on what you're trying to accomplish here. But basically, make sure you have these share buttons on here. If you're going to be amplifying it, you might as well get these on here. This has 1,500 shares, okay? Because we've been amplifying it for like $10 a day for a while. We've got a new one that we're rolling out here, but basically, but notice what I have here. I have and this, I should give you guys this widget because people ask about this stuff a lot. Which one is the one we're using now? We keep switching back and forth. But if you guys are interested in which one I'm using here, I can find out. I know which one it is. I have to look in the admin but basically here I have a lead pages lead box underneath this. If you pop that up, it just pops open that. So we actually get depending on everything, but above 20%, 20 to 25% opt-in rate on this page, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's like 27%, I think.
Yeah, and that's like higher than normal because this 9-step mind map is such a perfect lead magnet for this video. We have other blog posts that we're averaging like 10 or 12 percent opt-in rates. So, but basically, if you have a longer post, like we've got an epic post that we're going to be promoting or amplifying, we'll have a video and then also a long copy right below, and maybe 2,000 words, 3,000 words, and we've got Ralph's designed some cool Johnson boxes throughout, and we can show you even maybe on that. Should I show them that post that we just published? We're not amplifying yet.
Yeah, we haven't published it yet, but yeah, I mean it's the same kind of idea. I mean this is both, and you said at the top of your funnel to cold traffic going to either an epic blog post or a video. I think they're both ungated content.
Yeah.
So yeah, so either
The
one is
point
good.
is like this isn't even like we're actually this is my design is okay. I mean, be honest with you, with all some of the newer designs out there, we're already outdated in my opinion. But we have the calls to action we need to be able to do this. So
Right.
we're working on some cool new stuff for this site right now as we speak. But as far as some better mobile optimization stuff, but you got calls to action on the right sidebar. Just make sure you have calls to action on your block. That's it. You might have a hello bar at the top here or some kind of call to action at the top of your site. Maybe you have a pop-up. I don't know. If you do have a pop-up, don't have a pop-up right away because it's going to screw things up for people, especially if they're coming from mobile and they're going to be ticked off. Just give it some time if you're going to do that, but you'll get a lot more leads that way. So just non-gated content, but definitely like with Bree with her stuff, she at the bottom of her article, she has a link that takes them to the sales page, which we'll show you here in a second, because that's just the natural way to go. Some people will opt in on hers. A lot of people, they just buy after consuming that content. They click around here. So that's kind of how that works. So, and especially this is really, really important with today's environment. Like this is how you keep your account safe. This is how you run ads if you're in like weight loss niche. You have to do this, or else you'll get your account shut down. I don't know if there's any other way around it, to be honest. But you'll find here in a second that you can actually drive traffic to sales pages when you do this the right way. So it's like it's as much as we're telling you that you got to like build this system, we're also telling you that you can drive traffic right into sales pages. We're driving Facebook ads to order forms and sales pages all the time because we're doing this that you're looking at right here. That's the reason why in most cases. So
Because it's warmed up. You should probably show them the other blog post just to give them two examples.
Okay.
Like video, like if you're you're a video person, I'm not a video person. I'd rather write. So
this one or the one that's not published yet.
Actually, probably that one because we're gonna throw some ads at that soon. But whatever it is that you do best. I mean, Keith does videos and I like to write, so that kind of works for us. So This is one that we'll be doing. This is ungated content. It's 3,000 words.
I'll
but
put it
it's
in the
done in
chat.
a real, yeah, it's done in a real specific way with calls to action all throughout the post, which is sort of logical. Maybe just show them those boxes there.
All the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
Right here. So this is a call to action. If they click on this actually, we're kicking around and I was like, let's just take them right to the sales page in this case. So this is actually going to the sales page where they can get my book for free, physical book, and the Facebook Fast Start system for free plus shipping. So, and this goes into my video, just a separate opening with ScreenFlow here, but and this is a sales page. So basically, in that case, that's what we're doing. So you can see there's different ways to do this. And the cool thing is we don't care if they don't take action the first time, because they're in our audience now, right? That's where this comes in. We don't care. And so notice that was in the middle of the post, and then we got another one towards the bottom here. Another one there. This is a long article. It's a great article by Ralph. And so basically, another thing to think about here is, like, we've been going back and forth a little bit with one of our coaching clients about this, and we had them do this. And the first article they wrote was what, 500 words maybe, Ralph? Less?
It was short.
Yeah, a couple different people actually. And it's if that's all you have, yes, might as well amplify it, right? But if you're gonna do this, create a piece of content that you would, like, maybe use as a lead magnet. Epic content, we call it, right? And this is what you want to do. Like, this is like 3,000 words. The one with Bree that we're going to show you is like 3,300 words. She wrote that piece specifically for this strategy we're talking about, and that's why she's getting, I don't know if I talked about it on a webinar recently, but we talked about it. We talk about it on our podcast, but she's generating sales. She's spending $12 to generate a $47 sale, and a lot of those sales are coming from her blog. It's really powerful. So stuff really works. Inside of the reporting, you'll see just tons of sales coming in from that campaign going to that blog post. So.
Did you touch on the retargeting pixel there, website custom audience pixel? Just why we're sending it to ungated content? Maybe that.
Yeah, sure. So basically, inside our site, we have Facebook's custom audience pixel. You want to explain that so I don't go off on a tangent too much?
Well, just show that little FB pixel helper that you got up there in the upper right-hand corner. And basically on every page of the site, there's this one, it's a code. Facebook calls it a pixel, but it's a code, like you would install a Google Analytics code between the head tags of your entire site. So it's in there once. And for this, a couple of people asked questions. They said, well, when you send traffic to this, would you retarget people based upon just visiting that page or visiting your entire site? Well, we would probably do both. But basically what this pixel does, this code does, is it captures their UID, their user ID that they use for Facebook, and puts it into a silent list inside your audiences that you can then remarket to. And that's the way that Bree is getting sales from those lists, as well as just from the blog post itself. But it's a silent list. It's like a email list that you don't capture the email, but you can retarget those individuals based on their previous action for your lead magnet, or maybe even a low-priced offer, whatever you have in your funnel. So, but the website custom audience pixel is on this entire site, so it captures their information like you're capturing an email address, but not quite an email address yet because it's higher up in the funnel. But you can then retarget them for maybe your offer, your lead magnet, your low-priced offer, whatever happens to be, and we'll sort of show that in the funnel there.
Exactly. So inside your account, you'll have a audiences section, and then you can click on Create Audience here. Oh wait, not that one, because what you can do is hold on. Actually, while I'm doing this, why don't you explain the 3 separate types of audiences, since if there are some new people, custom audiences.
Yeah, I mean, there's well, they're all called custom audiences inside Facebook, but in essence, like let's say you have an email list of 10,000 people or 5,000 people, you can upload that entire list into Facebook in this tab, and then Facebook will match their email addresses with their email address they use to log in for Facebook, and it's about a 60 or 70% match in that range. So there's that. That's a custom audience. A website custom audience is somebody who has visited your site, clicked on one of your ads, your link post ads, or maybe a video ad with a link, whatever it happens to be, gone to your site, and they are now tagged or pixeled, in essence, because they landed on your website. So those people then go into another audience inside here, which is a website custom audience, which you can then create ads specifically for them. The third type is a video view audience, which it's measured by engagements, is people that either watch your video for 3 seconds or more when you do video view ads, or they've watched your video 95% or more. So those are really the 3 types of custom audiences per se. There's lots of variations of it, but the website custom audience is the audience that we really focus in on, especially in this funnel and for this purposes of this training here.
So you'll see like on the top right, create audience, and then I can click on website custom audience, and I can just put in my entire website domain here, or I can put in, specific pages, and Facebook will not track that. So we've got plenty of videos on that in members area, but that's basically, hope that helps a little bit. So yeah, so basically now the next step as people kind of come down this funnel a little bit is this one here. This one here is well, let's go up a little bit actually. Let's darn it. What the heck? Just hit escape and lost it. There we go. All right. Let's go up a little bit here, and I'm actually gonna move this down. You guys don't need to see all the details right now. It's just, sorry, it's just a little bit tough to explain this without having to see a little bit the whole thing. So this ad here, this is going to the opt-in, right? Or you might have a video ad here, okay? This is just a video ad, doesn't matter what it says, okay? This is a video lead gen ad, right? So I might have a video ad that drives traffic to either a squeeze page or a webinar, okay? Now, in most cases, you're gonna pay more per click to your website, in all cases almost, with a video ad, right? Because you get charged when they play the video, if they comment, they share it, et cetera, et cetera. Right here, typically, they're clicking on it and they're going right to your website. So the best way to use video is in conjunction with a link post ad. So you might have a video. These both might be running simultaneously to the same landing page, right? And so notice the link post ad I've got targeted to fans and custom audiences here, but not cold audiences. The video ad I can put in front of cold audiences and warm audiences, because the video kind of does that. It guess what? It warms people up, right? You can build yourself as an authority. You can position yourself as an authority, or you can just or just maybe you're using a video testimonial. Different ways to do that. I've been talking about video ads a lot lately, and we will continue to. But video, you can do that. You can target cold audiences. So you can kind of just see how we think about this, right? As you go down this funnel here, this is our new funnel. As soon as we have the webinars done, which by the way, I sent out an email. It just came out this morning to the normal list, not just members, about a webinar Thursday. I am doing the webinar on kind of the new Ralph and I together on the new 9-step process. And at the end of that, we'll make an offer for people that want to join Facebook Ads University. But I recommend everybody that's on this call now to hop on that webinar, because it will be really helpful. So even though it will be for non-members, and at the end I'll make an offer to join, and I'll probably maybe have maybe I'll have an extra bonus for people that already are members or something if we do something. I'm not sure, but I want you to be on that if you can, because it will be really good stuff, even though it's a public webinar. So but basically, if you go down this funnel here, now let's say we want to retarget people that have already opted in, right? And I want to drive people to this page right here. Now I'll raise it up a little bit so you can see a little bit more, and then so you can kind of do that right there. All right, so this is the holes that we're filling right now in our funnel, because we weren't quite done with the funnel, so we can't run ads. But this is just what we're doing, so you can kind of see it. So if I want to target people that have already opted in, then I can run a link post ad, and I can take them right to my sales page. This page right here is a what you would call a tripwire, right? You get the book for free, you pay $5 shipping, and you get some free training, right? And then there's a trial offer for the membership, and then there's some upsells. So basically, I can run a link post ad there, and I can target warm audiences or leads. Okay, probably leads in most cases in my situation, but now if I run a video ad, I can run a video ad to my blog audiences and then also leads, and I can take them to that sales page. Now the other thing that we're going to be testing out is running a longer kind of video sales letter video in the news feed only to leads, right? Only to people that have opted in, and taking them right to this order form. Okay. Or maybe it's people that have been to this sales page but have not converted, and I'm running a video testimonial ad, and I can take them either back to the sales page, maybe a different version of it, or I can take them right to the order form. So yes, you can do that. We have a client that's spending they're doing a 30-minute video in the news feed and driving traffic to an order form, and it's working on mobile. So now as you go down this, you can kind of every time I hit escape, I lose it. Darn it. Now as you go down the funnel, this is just, let's say this is my want help video for people to fill out an application to work with us either as a coaching client or as an agency. Then we can run link post ad to customers, taking them right to this page. It's a video. And I would typically run, I could run a video ad, but there's no point in this case because they're already customers and there's a video on the page. So that's one way to think about that. So what I want to do now is I want to take you to the next one. I want to take you to the funnel for Betty Rocker, who sells basically fitness and recipe. So meal plans and workouts. Okay. And she's in that space. That's tough. A lot of people are not able to run ads in the fitness space. So notice how this looks very similar, right? She's running a like campaign here where you've got want a rockin' body, like my page for awesome recipes, workouts, and lean body tips. Okay, this used to say want a sexy body or lean sexy body. That's kind of her slogan, her tagline, but she can't use that because her ads get disapproved because of the word sexy. So just something, a little tip there. But when she first started running Facebook ads back in like January, December, she had 30,000 Facebook fans. And she's only spending $14 a week on like campaigns. So you can do the math. They're building up really fast, and it's not just because of these like campaigns. It's because of this stuff down here. Which I'll show you. So this one here, cold audiences. Now she has 2 blog posts that she's running traffic to. Okay. So do you need to create a new blog post every week for this strategy? No, you don't. One good one is all you need. One good epic blog post. That's your assignment. Okay. So this ad is all about, this is a 3,300 page blog post. Notice down here, you might not see these numbers, but it's got 3,800 likes and 2,400 shares. So that's like a 3-to-2 ratio. I say if you ever have a 2-to-1 ratio or better, which would mean for every 2 likes, you're getting 1 share. That is really good in Facebook's terms. That means you're going to get high relevant scores. You're going to get cheap clicks, and you're going to get high impressions. Okay. This is typically what happens when you're driving people to content or you're doing video ads. So you can look at that ratio and kind of see how you're doing, and you'll kind of know how high your click costs are going to be almost. But so she's driving to this ungated content here. Okay, at the bottom of this content piece, this is an opt-in form on the right here, and towards the bottom of this article, there's a link that goes to her Body Fuel System. It's a 30-day meal plan that's a $47 product. Okay, so as you kind of go down this, let's move it up a little bit. She's got, let's go up to right there. Actually, let's go to here. Okay, she's got another blog post here, which is the same strategy. It's going to another post, but this one's more about workout. So the top one is about eating, and this one is fitness. So you got health, you got the eating stuff, and then here you got the fitness. So this is going to a blog post here. So as you go down the funnel, now she has a video ad going to a opt-in page. You don't have to do this here. The reason she did this in her case originally was because her opt-in isn't a typical like super impulse opt-in like a cheat sheet or a checklist, right? It's a 30-day boot camp that on each day she actually has calls to action to her products. So she wants people to join a 30-day boot camp, and so it's not a super simple opt-in, but it's a good one. And so she's like, I'll do a video ad. So she's got a video ad running to that. So that video ad, of course, goes to cold traffic. You see the blue line here. That's cold audiences. But it's also targeting fans that are not yet leads and people that have opted in. I'm sorry, people that have visited one of these blog posts and have not yet opted in, so or bought. So as you go down the funnel, let's move this down a little bit more here. Now you get into the good stuff here. Let's make some money. Okay. So really need to, let's just start here. This one here is your typical link post ad, right? This is a clickable image here that is going to a sales page with a video on it, and it's a $47 product. So this traffic is taking Facebook traffic directly to a sales page, and yes, it's running right now. This is going to warm audiences. It's going to fans. Actually, it's going to leads, and it's going to, blog content and leads. So you'll see it's going to leads here, and then it's also going to this blog content and fans, right? So it's going to not just leads in this case. That's where epic content comes in. If you have a 3,300 word blog post, they don't need to be opted in for you to drive them to a sales page. They've already consumed that content. That, in my opinion, that's a list. That's like being on your list. So it's pretty cool. Also, the great thing about that is it's inspiring, it's motivating when you see those lists growing every single day, a lot faster than your email list might grow. So even though you don't own that list, it's just, a whole other subject. So you always need to be focusing on your own lead gen and building your own assets. But now that's one ad, right? She's got 3 different ads basically going. So the next one is what I call the content with call to action video posts, which is one of my favorite new post videos, okay, that we're doing. So this video ad is targeting warm audiences, blog readers and leads, and it's taking them to the sales page. But it's a video ad. This is a 6-minute video ad where she shows us, this is actually a video she did 2 years ago, by the way, that has a lot of love on YouTube. So she's like, I might as well use that. So she took that video off YouTube, the video file, Facebookized it, I call it, added some lower thirds with some direction, and lower third at the beginning, and then a little text call to action at the end saying, click the link to get 30 days of meal plans. And so this video goes right to the sales page, to the $47 product. Now, this video right now is not targeting cold audiences, but I think it could, and it would still convert. So because it's such a good content piece, notice the shares here, 94 shares, 107 likes, almost a 1-to-1 ratio to a sales page. Okay, it's because what she did here, she actually pasted the entire recipe in the post. People love sharing content like that. That's boom, they've got the recipe. Even if they don't watch the video, they've got the recipe right here. And at the bottom of this post, and I wrote all about this in an article that we just published at Digital Marketer, by the way, and I emailed this article out this morning. So you'll have it in your inbox. And I've got more details on this video strategy. But so that's going to the sales page there. Now, as you go down here a little bit longer here, this one here is another video ad that's taking him to. Let's just do this so you can see a little better. This is taking them to just a different part of the sales page. It's the same product. It's the $47 30-day meal plan body fuel system. But this is a video testimonial that's targeting people that have been to the sales page. So what this one's really targeting is leads, but it's pretty much targeting people that have been to this page and not yet bought. So she's got a tab on her sales page that's like client stories. But like I don't. So like for me, our video testimonials will just go back to the same sales page. Most people, that's what will happen. You'll just take them back to here, or you'll take them right to the order form. So this one here will also be going right to the order form, but it's not yet. There's different ways you can do this. She's going to be doing a VSL style video too. So it's like maybe a 5-10 minute video that'll take them, talk about all about the body fuel system, and it's only going to be shown to warm audiences, and it'll take them to the order form. So there's a possibility where you could do this with cold traffic too, but you have to be really, really good at scripting that stuff out. So down here is just farther. We don't have this stuff filled in. She doesn't need this right now. It's just customer targeting. So that is the kind of consumer-based funnel that is working really, really well. Like these ads are generating customers. Customers are coming through in the reporting, and I show it on that. I don't show these ones on the article we did for Digital Marketer, but I think we show it on another article somewhere. But on the video ads down here, we show the kind of the reporting snapshots on that article that I posted. We emailed out about this morning. But yep,
we got a couple of questions.
Shoot.
A couple people have asked about what do I write about as far as my epic piece of content, or maybe even do a video about. How long should it be? What recommendations do you have as far as that goes?
So if you're going to do a video, the long question is common question, and it should be as long as it needs to be. I know you hate that answer, but if you're listening right now, but basically, especially if it's a blog post, it doesn't have to be super short. What we found, and even with Facebook in the news with newsfeed videos, and I talked about this on the webinar we did the other day. We'll talk more about this too, but I actually talked about this on the last webinar we did for video ads. So go watch that one if you haven't yet. It's in the webinar recordings. But Facebook did a test, and they talked about the drop-off rates of video ads in the newsfeed. And basically, every video you lose 90% of your viewers after 10 seconds. After 5 seconds. I want to pull it up. So if you look at this graph right here, oh no, I didn't pull it on that one, did I? The same. The reason I'm showing you this because this goes for a blog too. It's the same thing. So whether you're running video ads or you've got a blog post that's a video. There's a right here. Nope, this one right here. So if you look at this right here, this is a graph. This is all Facebook video viewers through March 5th, 2015. And you'll see here it's a 15-second, 30-second, and 60-second. And honestly, I wish they would have had a 2-minute and a 3-minute one here, because we do long videos all the time and they work well. But the point of this graph is, if you look right here, this is the percent of viewers left watching the video. This is the time. About 5 seconds in, notice you've got about 10% of the people still watching the video 5 seconds in. So 5 seconds into the video, you lose 90% of the people, no matter what, no matter how long your video is, whether it's 15 seconds or whether it's 10 minutes. Okay. Now, the really big one here, which is what I've kind of always stressed, because I've seen this firsthand, is that I like longer videos. I like 3 or 4 minute videos. And it's funny, I saw Six Pack Shortcuts. His last YouTube InStream ad is a 6-minute ad. So what you'll see here is that this is people who watch the entire video. You've got about probably 3.5% here of watch the entire 30-second video. And the 15-second, I don't even know. It's such a short video, it's hard to tell. But still, that's like 4.5 seconds, right? I'm sorry, 4.5% of people. And then here, the 1-minute one, this is about 3.5, 4. It's about the same as this one. Okay. This one almost actually people might be a higher number. Kind of crazy. But basically, the point is that at the end of your video, you're going to have maybe 3.5 to 4.5% of people still watching who watch the entire video, no matter how long your video is. So the goal of your video is not to try to connect with this 90%, right? It's to connect with the 4% of people that watch your video. So the how long should your video be? 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes. I have 15-minute videos that will amplify all day long. I don't care, because even if they only watch 8 minutes of it, the branding that I've done and the value I've created, it already did its job. So, and if you have calls to action on your page throughout, then you're fine. So the point is it's just however long it needs to be. When it comes to the article, I would say think about it like if you were going to do a lead magnet. Let's say you wanted to create a really cool piece of content that you could maybe charge $7 for, or get somebody to opt in for, like a PDF, like a guide. Make that your blog post. That's what I would do. But figure out a way to tell a story if you can, make a connection. And then if you can, make it a piece that does kind of segue into your products, right? So that's why the cool part about this strategy, and the great thing about Facebook ads is it's kind of like you don't have to be creating tons and tons and tons of content if you have one or two good pieces that really warm people up and transition them into the funnel. So it's not about volume, it's just about the level of, how good it is. So
That chart is actually an outgrowth of the fact
yep,
that Facebook counts a video view as 3 seconds or more. So if you're thumbing through, just picture yourself on your iPhone or your Droid, and you're thumbing through and you stop for 3 seconds or more on a video, but don't actually click the button to watch it, then that's considered a video view. So that's the reason why that drop off is so great, I think. YouTube considers a video view, I believe it's 25 seconds. So that the metrics are a little bit different. But yeah, the people who end up at the end, who actually watch 95% of it or more, you can create a custom
actually,
audience.
Ralph, I don't think this is talking about video views. It's not. It's not a percentage of views. It's just seconds watched.
Yeah, well,
So 1 second,
typically people will flip by it.
right? It's different in Facebook because it's a silent and all that stuff, right? So your numbers are going to always be higher if they click through to your blog and it's a blog video.
Right.
That's your point, right?
Yeah, my point is that it may seem low, but also a video view is pretty cheap. But the ones who actually watch it all the way through, those are the ones that are going to be really good targeted audiences for you that you can target with your offer afterwards too.
Yep. So, and we'll talk about this, like, what should I do? Should I do a blog post? Should I do a video ad? And we'll talk about that here in just a second, actually.
Yep.
But this chart is good because, yeah, like if it's on your blog, it's not going to be so dramatic. It's probably going to be more like this, right? And still going to be kind of like fairly like this, but not as much. So, and if it's an article, yeah, I mean, that's a tough one there. So I don't want to go on too much about this. So is there any other big questions like that kind of relate to this? I want to get into like answer a couple questions, and then also talk about, I'll give you guys a Lucid chart download here in a second too right now, but I want to kind of talk about the first 3 things that I would do if I had to start from scratch. But actually I'm gonna hop up and grab something real quick. So I'm gonna pause it, Ralph. I'm gonna give it to you just for a second. So to answer a question, okay?
Yeah, just answering a couple of questions here. When we're talking about blog posts versus videos, these are actual posts on Facebook. So a video ad, the ones that we just saw when Keith gets back in the funnel, those are video ads. Those are videos that are actually in the newsfeed. You upload them as a video ad. So that is one type of ungated content. But then the other type of ungated content is where you actually take the URL from your blog or from your website for some piece of informational content, something that's helpful and useful for your audience, maybe hits their number one pain point, or goes after one of their greatest desires. For our example, the post that we just wrote was on this whole thing about how do you keep your Facebook ads account safe. So it was a blog post about that specific issue because we know our audience is really interested in that, and nobody's really written much about it. So what we have is we have that we'll actually post that URL on our as an update on the Dominate Web Media page, Facebook page, and then we'll promote that. So that will become a link post ad that then we can send traffic directly to. So they'll click that image and then go back to Dominate Web Media where they'll be pixeled. We'll capture them in our website custom audience, and then we can remarket to them for a lead magnet or maybe the low priced offer that we have, that kind of thing. So hopefully that answers. I think Vivian had that question about what type of content we were talking about here.
Okay. So I'm gonna put the link in here. I'm gonna put this link in the chat, and right now that's the downloadable shareable URL for this chart. Okay. Not sure why that's doing that, but it's a reload thing. But basically, what you're gonna do when you get that, it's gonna be a view only file. Okay, you're not gonna be able to edit it, but all you do is you go back to once you're inside your like all documents inside Lucidchart, what you should do is you right click on it and then you copy it inside your account. Once you copy it inside your account, the new one that's created will be editable. That's what you do. So, and then just start filling the holes. So what I would do if I were to start right now is if I would say, first thing to do is create a like campaign. Okay. That needs to happen. Absolutely. So it's easy to do. Just get it running in the background, charge $5, spend $5 a day or something like that. Okay. And then I would create one piece of epic content and run a link post ad. Of course, you can rotate this ad, like the image and stuff like that, around if you're, unless it's like a $5 a day budget and it's a huge audience, there's no reason to, because you're fine for a while because you're not going to have ad fatigue. So it's just how often you change these images out and stuff. It's all relevant to how big your audience is and what your budget is. So, but you can be split testing a couple different images this way too if you want. But and that will kind of also rotate your ads while figuring out which image works best. But that's a separate kind of conversation. So what I would do is that black thing there? Usually does that when it's, let me reload this. Probably shouldn't have done that. But, oh, by the way, once you get this template, you gotta zoom out twice. So I zoom out twice. I kind of screwed up because I had them the right, like they were all like this size, but then when I tried to export it and put them on my big giant digital whiteboard that you guys have seen me use for videos, I didn't export it in the high enough res and print resolution, so it was all blurry. So what I did before, I didn't realize I could, so I made these all really, really big. So like you'll see this, they're really big, and so it would be better on that whiteboard. When really all I had to do was export it in like print resolution. But anyway, that's why I did that. So all you need to do is zoom out a couple times, and you'll be fine. So basically, what I would do is I would run a like campaign. I would run a content piece. Or if you don't have a content piece, if you don't have a blog, then I would probably create a video ad. But you do that, and then maybe you create one piece of a link post ad that's retargeting warmed up traffic to whatever your landing page is. Okay. And that's it. I mean, if you don't do video, those three things alone right there are going to make a huge difference for you. And maybe you don't retarget. Maybe you retarget them, one that's retargeting to your lead magnet and one that's retargeting them down to a sales page, right? So like campaign, blog post content, and then some kind of retargeting campaign that's going either to a lead magnet or to a sales page. And I would, if you can, combine the link post ad with a video ad, because like I've talked about in video, my last video webinar, is this video ad here really, really helps this ad. So, and I can target people that maybe have clicked on this but not have converted. These can be running simultaneously, okay? Or maybe I'm just running I don't have a link post ad. Maybe I'm only running a video ad that's targeting people that have uh, clicked on this one and visited this site, right? Or became a fan. So you maybe you want to run the like ad, the content piece, and then the video ad that's targeting, fans and warmed up audiences. So maybe cold audiences too. So that's what I would do first. All the rest, you know, don't stress about it. So if you look at Bree's stuff here, Betty Rocker, um, she didn't start out with all this stuff. This took a long time to do. This took like 4 or 5 months, 6 months really to start doing. This stuff has just been added recently down here. So this didn't happen overnight with her. We started out with light campaign, one piece of content, and um, a video ad going to the opt-in page. That's it. That's how we started with her basically. And then she added this one, and then she kind of added this one. So all this stuff has been added later. You don't have to have all this stuff right away to get started at all. That's what I would do. Does that make sense?
Start with a like campaign, a blog post, and then a core offer. We actually had a lead magnet, I think, in there,
Either
but then we
lead
realized
magnet.
we were actually,
With her, we started with the lead magnet one, this one,
yeah,
the video ad going to the opt-in page. We didn't even start with traffic to the sales page for a while.
right. But then we realized that the blog post was actually creating more sales. So we said, let's lower the budget on the lead magnet and just go direct from content to a sale. So, I
Exactly.
mean,
Can you repeat that actually? Repeat exactly what you said and how that process happened.
yeah, well, we were just on a call and we were looking at the reporting, and I'm pretty sure Bree's on the call here, but we just sort of looked at the reporting and we realized that this content piece, this blog post was so great. It was convincing people to buy right off the blog post. And I'm like, why are we bothering with leads? Because leads is like the first step, and then you try to convert them to a sale. So let's lower your budget on leads and let's just up your budget on promoting this blog post, because obviously it's resonating with the audience that she was targeting. And I think the best audience, the blog post is about meal planning, and it's meal planning guides. It's about how to eat, obviously. So the groups that were very interested in this were specific interests that were interested in meal planning and all kinds of interests associated with that. So what we realized is that instead of doing this middle step of like let's capture the email address first, the content was selling the product because it was a blog post, but it was really sort of a blog post as a sales page, but it's just epic content on there, great proof content, giving lots and lots of information. So by the time people read the whole thing, they said, forget it, I'll just buy the whole thing, you
Yeah.
know?
And
And she also had a tripwire offer. We said, forget that. People want the whole thing as opposed to just the tripwire, which was like a few days. Bree
what's a
can actually
tripwire,
probably
Ralph?
explain.
A lot of people don't know what that is.
Tripwire is a smaller offer. It's a lower priced offer that's usually splintered off your main offer. Let's say if you have a big, 12-step program on how to do something, or 12 modules to how to flip houses, for example. Maybe a tripwire is how to raise money to flip
But
houses.
it's a low priced offer. It's a
It's a
$10,
lower priced offer
$7.
that's usually, yeah, you offer it much less than what your core offer is. So in this case, Bree had a lower priced offer that sort of led to the next step of the higher priced offer, but nobody wanted that. They wanted the whole thing. They wanted the high priced offer based on the blog post itself, because the blog post was so rich in content and so helpful and
Now,
useful.
she loves her audience. You have to realize that too. You have to be doing this like to serve. Like you have to be. The whole point here is to create goodwill and customers along the way, right? But you can't just try to like engineer this process if your ultimate goal is just to get sales. So you have to like part of the reason why I think she's so successful is because deep down she really 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 like wants to help her audience and her stuff is really good. So by the way, I mean go out and buy if you want help with fitness or some freaking awesome meal plans, go check her out. But please respect her. Don't go try to reach out and ask her for advice on business and stuff like this because um, we won't be able to share stuff like this in the future. People are all just reaching out to her asking for tips because she does get that sometimes. So, but that's important. So when you're asking earlier, like, what should I write about? Like, what is the biggest struggle? Like, what does your audience need the most? Do that. And that will help you. And so, that is, I guess, the most important part. So,
A couple of people are asking to repeat the 3 things that you would do
yep,
again.
yep.
Can you repeat that?
Let me, I'm gonna draw it out here instead. What I'm gonna do here is, pull this open here for a second. I'll show you what I would do. Let's turn on reflector. Where's my paper? There it is. Let's see if I can do this here. Is this? Oh, I know. Oh, hold on, it's updating. I'm gonna draw this out real quick. So, while I'm pulling this open, let me know if you got any other questions or anything.
Yeah. While we're getting to that, let's see. Is the mind map downloadable? I don't see a way to print or download. I believe it is. You have to sign up for an account in order to get it, and it's free to start off, as I recall. Maybe Keith can explain that one when he comes back. But yeah, so it is downloadable. We've done it before, so just click on it, sign up for Lucidchart, you should be all set. Should we use the same audience for likes, content, and video ads? What we ideally do is when this is sort of the overall strategy, but what we'll typically do is we'll do a lot of audience research first, and then end up creating a bunch of different ad sets. In the case of Bree, we created, I think, 5 to 10 ad sets just to start off for specific sort of generalized interests. So you find out through your like campaigns and your content campaigns which audiences, which interests resonate with your message best. And those first couple of days, you pause the ones that aren't interacting and don't seem to respond to your stuff, or maybe you have cost per like that are super high, or aren't clicking to your website hardly at all for any of your your blog posts that you're promoting on your Facebook page. So your like campaign sort of sets the tone for that. Your like campaign actually figures out who your audience is, and then yes, once you figure out who those best audiences are, then you direct your best content to them, and then retarget those folks who have visited those page with your retargeting ads, which might be video ads, link post ads, that kind of thing. So it's all sort of on a continuum, but yeah, you do use all 3 together. They work in concert with each other.
Yep.
So
it just went black. Let's try it one more time. If it doesn't work, then I won't use it. But okay.
So like campaign to a blog post, link post ad to an opt-in video sale. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Exactly. So basically, what I would do is the first thing I would do is step 1 would be, why is that pinch? Get that out of here. Okay, whatever. Step 1 would be, whoops, sorry. This thing's acting weird, but whatever. Is like campaign, okay? So, like campaign. Step 2 would be blog content, right? So, what kind of ad are you going to send to this blog here? Well, I'd probably do a link post ad, right? So that's going to be a link post ad, and it's going to go to the blog, okay? Because you don't need to do a video ad going to a blog post, because it's kind of defeating the purpose. If you're going to do a video ad, typically it's going to cost you more per website visitor, but they're going to be a lot higher quality, right? Plus, you're also building your video views audiences and stuff like that. So typically, if I run a video ad, I don't like to run a video. I like to run a video ad either to an offer, a sales page, or an opt-in page that might not be getting very good conversion. So you're doing a link post ad to a blog. Then the next step is to either go to a lead magnet or a sales page. Pick one. It just depends on what your situation is. If I looked at your account, I'd tell you what I would do. But so you have, let's just put lead magnet here. So that's a lead magnet landing page. And what you're going to do is I would probably do maybe a link post ad here, right? That's targeting people that have already been to the blog, so it's those people, and it's also targeting fans, and they're going right to your landing page. And then maybe you also add in a video ad here, and same thing. The video ad is targeting people that have been to the blog and fans, and they're going to the lead magnet. And you know what? And you can swap that lead magnet out here. This could be a sales page, like Ralph said, a tripwire instead. Okay. The same, you can kind of swap those out. I don't care, but start with one. Don't try to do it all at once. Okay. So you can add in the video later here. This can be the second step. So starting out, you got your light campaign, your blog, and then your lead gen ad, and you're running them. That's your machine, because they can all be running at the same time, because what you do inside your targeting is where you select your audiences. So this ad is targeting fans, right? This ad has got targeting cold audiences, just interest-based audiences. This ad here is targeting your custom audiences, people that have been to your blog or watched a video or are a fan. And maybe it's targeting cold audiences too, just depending on your situation. You can drive cold traffic to lead magnets. We're not saying don't always do that, but we're saying that this stuff, what we're talking about, we know it works if it's done right. You just have to put it together. So, and that's one thing, one reason why I think Bree has been so successful is because, one, she has awesome products and she loves her audience, but two, like, she takes action. And we talked about this on the podcast in episode 5 of the podcast, where she, after the first couple calls, she wanted to throw her computer across the room, because everything that, the language was so hard for her to understand, and it was just frustrating. The Power Editor, everything was so frustrating. And you fast forward like 60 days, 90 days, and all of a sudden now she's like a master at the Power Editor, because she got in there and did it. Like, as you start to go in there and do this stuff a few times, these webinars, those trainings inside Facebook Ads University, it'll all turn from Spanish to English as you start to get in there and just mess around, even if you're just running some light campaigns. It's repetition. Just like video, when I talked about in our webinar we did the other day on video, how my first few videos that I used to do a few years ago, I used to take a couple shots before I would record, because I was so stiff and I was horrible on video. But I did it, and then I recorded a few videos, and next thing you know, after like 10 or 15 video recordings, even though maybe only one was published, I started to get a little bit more comfortable. So it's just repetition. So do it, and I promise you, you'll be glad you did. And the cool thing is, when you're doing this, is you're learning so much about your audiences. And that's why Ralph said, that's why we pivoted, and we just said, screw it. Let's just send them straight to the $47 offer, and it's working. And so, yeah. But we're kind of running out of time. Actually, we've got to hop on a call right after this too, and with the coaching client. So I really want to end this as soon as possible. I wanted to go an hour and 15, but we got some good questions. So is there any last questions that we can hit on? Or is there any issues with people downloading that template or anything like that?
Yeah, we just had a couple of questions about downloading the Lucid chart, and it's really, that is, if you can wrap your head around that Lucid chart, it's a game changer for you, and you can just sort of insert your own stuff into that. But yeah, a couple of people had some questions. They were having a hard time getting it.
Is anybody getting it?
Yeah, why don't we just, if anyone's not getting it, you guys could just respond.
Was this a helpful webinar for you folks out there? Let me know if this was helpful. Cool. Looks like, okay, cool. Looks like a lot of people are getting it.
I got it. Good.
Yeah. You can export once you're in there in the Lucid chart. Let me get rid of this. Oops. Once you're in Lucid chart, you can do things like this, like download as. So, like I said, I downloaded it as a PNG file to put it on my whiteboard, but I did it right here, 160, and what I should have done was 300. Then I probably wouldn't have had to increase the size of those images like I did. But oh well. But you can download it as a PDF, as a PNG, JPEG, all those types of things to once you have it and you want to print it out and stuff. So that's what I would recommend doing. But you could totally print out the one that I gave you, before you do anything to it. So you can kind of just hit print here, and you can print it. But I recommend getting those blank spots and starting to, this will help you take action. And so it really helps get things moving. So cool.
Cool.
All right. Well, if you have any other questions, go ahead and bring them to the Facebook group. If you have any other issues with the Lucidchart, just bring them to the Facebook group, and we'll help you out there. So until then, we'll talk to y'all soon, and have a great week. Cool.
See you, everybody.
See ya.